Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Murli Bharadwaj. चलो हम दोनों मिलके फिर एक बार एनाटॉमी पढ़ेंगे. Now, Doctor, neuroanatomy and neurology always is the favorite area for the NEET PG examiner. Now, nerve root. What is a nerve root of different areas? Purely बट्टी मारने वाला चीज होता है. So, posterior half of the skull cap, please don't forget, it is C2. And the area which correlates with the high turtleneck shirt, typically is C3. And a low collar shirt area, imagine you are wearing a low collar shirt area, that is C4. थंब होता है एकलव्य का थंब, that is C6 is what you should remember, which is radial nerve. Then C7 is second and third digit. It is median nerve. Then C8, fourth and fifth digits. You should remember, this is the little digit. Thumb is always called the first digit. So fourth and fifth digits is C8, which is ulnar nerve. Nipples hota hai T4. Please don't forget. Then inframammary area is T5. Xiphoid process is T6 and T7. Umbilicus is T10. And pubic bone area is T12. इंग्वाइनल लिगामेंट होता है L1. नी जॉइंट, बाबा मैं बुढ़ा हो गया, कुछ करो ना मेरे आर्थराइटिस को. सम ऑफ यू आर गोइंग टू बिकम ग्रेट ऑर्थोपेडिक सर्जन्स. इट इज L4. Genitalia is S2 and S3 is what you have to remember. Now a lot of times examiner asks a question, what are the deviations? Will it deviate towards or will it deviate away? In the case of the cranial nerve lesions, please don't forget. Fifth cranial nerve, trigeminal jaw. Whenever there is a motor lesion of the trigeminal, the mandibular division, then the jaw will deviate towards the side of the lesion. Obviously, if something pushes, normal function of something is to push. If that particular side got affected, then the normal side will push towards the side where the lesion is there. Suppose if the function is, for example, this is one side, this is one side. So if this is pushing, normal function is to push, then if it got affected, this side got affected, then the other side will push unopposed. So deviation will be ipsilateral. If pushing is the normal function, deviation will be ipsilateral to the side of lesion, right? Whereas if its normal function is to pull, then any lesion of that will lead to the contralateral side deviation. Pulling karta hai contralateral. If the normal function is to pull towards, then any lesion will make the deviation to go contralateral is what you should remember. Cranial nerve 10, what will happen? Uvula become deviated away from the side of the lesion, contralateral side. Right side vagus effect हुए तो uvula will get deviated towards the left side. Left-sided vagus effect हुए तो uvula get deviated towards the right side is what you should remember. Cranial nerve 2, there is a weakness in turning the head to the opposite side of the lesion. Is what you need to basically remember. Then this is not 2, it is 11. Sorry, it is 11. Right? Cranial nerve 11 lesion. 11 lesion. There is a weakness in turning the head to the opposite side of the lesion. Cranial nerve 12. Hypoglossal nerve. The tongue will deviate towards the side of the lesion. It is like licking the wound. If the right side lesion is there, the tongue is deviated towards the right side. That is easy to remember. Lick the wound. So, fatafat bolo, doctor, ipsilateral is 12. Ipsilateral is 12. And cranial nerve 5, it is also deviated, ipsilateral. Whereas cranial nerve 10 is deviated, contralateral. You are not going to forget. Thoda ipsilateral, contralateral may examiner can play with you. That's the reason. Acha bhaiya, how many tracts that you know? Motor and sensory tracts. Let us fatafat padenge. Pyramidal tract. You have a lateral corticospinal, anterior corticospinal. Typically in the spinal cord, if the pyramidal tract on the left side got affected, let us say, right? If the, this is of course right side, this is left side, this is the spinal cord. So, spinal cord mein right side wala pyramidal tract is affected means already it got decussated. That is the reason ipsilateral side, right side spinal cord lesion will lead to right side hemiplegia. If the lesion is in the spinal cord. So, lateral corticospinal tract in the spinal cord, lateral corticospinal tract involvement will affect the ipsilateral limb. Anterior corticospinal, it conducts the voluntary motor impulses from the precentral gyrus to the motor center in the cord, right? Anterior corticospinal. Now, what are the extra pyramidal tracts, doctor? Rubrospinal, reticulospinal, vestibulospinal. These are all the important extra pyramidal tracts. Now, rubrospinal, from where does it come? Red nucleus to spinal cord. And the main route for the mediation of the voluntary movement, especially large muscles, fine motor control, large muscles, not small muscles, large muscles, fine motor control, main route for the mediation of the voluntary movement is rubrospinal, which is a extra pyramidal tract. What is the next extra pyramidal, doctor? Reticulospinal. Reticulo hota hai, it coordinates the automatic movement of locomotion, automatic movement of posture, and mainly reticulo will affect those muscles which are controlling our muscle tone, and it mediates and those muscles which are mediating the autonomic functions. And also reticulospinal is involved in modulating the pain impulses is what you have to basically remember. Now, vestibulospinal, iska kaam kya hai? Typically you have one lateral vestibulospinal and medial vestibulospinal. So typically it is the ipsilateral descent to paravertebral and proximal limb extension. Limb extension is lateral. And medial, bilateral descent. It also controls the eye movements, the medial vestibulospinal. It controls the neck position and the gaze. That is the importance of medial vestibulospinal is what you have to remember. Now doctor, आपका dorsal columns है ना? Gracile fasciculus and cuneate fasciculus. Where will they end in the medulla? In the lower part of the medulla, these tracts will end in medial lemniscus. In the spinal cord, it is the gracile and the cuneate. And by the time they reach the lower medulla, they go to the contralateral side and they travel up as medial lemniscus is what you need to remember. Lemniscus always contain second order neurons. हम बहुत बार इसके बारे में discuss कर चुके. Once more, this is only a small trailer for you. You have a wonderful video library with all these topics, with the PowerPoints, everything available in the onlinembbs.com. So please do call our helpline 900868 to get enrolled yourself into our extensive video library which has PowerPoints, online mock tests, everything. Now doctor, this is all quick revision. Gracile fasciculus, what does it carry? Fine touch, vibration, proprioception, lower body किसको टच करता? ग्राउंड को. इसलिए G for ground, G for gracile fasciculus is what you have to remember. Now, cuneate fasciculus, what is it? Fine touch, vibration, proprioception, but from upper body, that is from your hands, arms, etc. It is the cuneate fasciculus. Now, spinocerebellar tract. You have one posterior spinocerebellar, anterior spinocerebellar. Fundamentally, spinocerebellar tract main function is the limb and the joint position को continuously बोलेगा भैया इसका हाथ कहाँ है, पाँव कहाँ है, घुटने कहाँ है. So the limb and the joint position is being told to the central nervous system by spinocerebellar tract, which is anterior and posterior. Then you have the lateral spinothalamic tract. All of you know it is the pain and temperature. Anterior spinothalamic tract, it is the one which is carrying the soft pain. Soft pain होता है ना डॉक्टर, soft nociception, that is carried by anterior spinothalamic tract. Then you have a spino-olivary tract. Olivary nucleus कहाँ होता है भैया? Olivary nucleus होता है. There is one superior and inferior olivary nucleus. Inferior olivary nucleus is there in the medulla. It is there in the medulla. So typically this spino-olivary tract carries the proprioception from the muscles, tendons, cutaneous impulses to inform the olivary nucleus. Then this inferior olivary nucleus जो होता है, inferior olivary nucleus, it has got a very close relation with the cerebellum. So with the inferior cerebellar peduncle cerebellum, it reaches the cerebellum. So this is how inferior olivary nucleus talks to inferior cerebellar peduncle, and that communicates to cerebellum is what you need to remember. Bhaiya, abhi aa gaya. What are the various brain lesions? What is the effect of it? Broca's area, expressive aphasia, cannot be able to speak, but he has got a good understanding of the speech. Inferior frontal is the area where you have the Broca's is what you should remember. Wernicke's area, it is there in the temporal, right? So you should remember the patient has inability to comprehend the speech, समझने में दिक्कत है मगर बात कर सकते, so that is Wernicke's area. Frontal lobe, if it is affected, then we have a change in personality. A good man, soft man, become aggressive, ruthless man. Then there's a defect in judgment. Basically, if you want to know who is your girl and your friend's girl, you have to differentiate. The judgment is required for us for a proper social behavior. है ना? So any frontal lobe dysfunction will lead to disinhibition syndrome, and there is a defect in judgment. There are frontal release signs like lip smacking, etc. Right? Now, arcuate fasciculus, what does it do? Basically, it connects the Broca's anteriorly with the Wernicke's posteriorly. Broca's anteriorly with the Wernicke's posteriorly are connected, right? Broca's with the Wernicke's. So, when this arcuate fasciculus is affected, patient has a good language comprehension, but he has got a poor ability to speak in repetition. Repetition में दिक्कत होता है. That is the problem with arcuate fasciculus. Amygdala, what you will remember? Kluwer-Bucy syndrome. In this, the patient becomes hypersexual. मॉर्निंग भी वो होना है, दोपहर भी वो होना है, रात में भी वो होना है, every hour होना है. So hypersexual, hyperoral and has a disinhibited behavior, that is amygdala, Kluver-Bucy. Then right parietal lobe, left-handed person में right, right-handed person में left is the dominant hemisphere, है ना? So right parietal lobe, if it is affected, there is a spatial neglect. Spatial neglect. Thus, he cannot recognize the contralateral side of the lesion. That means, typically on the left side of the body, he won't recognize that he is having that body. He won't even wear the pant and shirt in the left side. If he has a right parietal lobe with a spatial neglect, is what you need to remember. Now, mammillary bodies. इसका importance क्या है, doctor? So, mammillary bodies are affected whenever you have Wernicke's corsicos in vitamin B1, thiamine deficiency. Confabulation, anterograde, not retrograde, anterograde amnesia is what you will have. Lot of times examiner will ask, is it retrograde or antigrade? Retrograde or antigrade in Korsakoff and Wernicke, what will you answer? Anterograde. Confabulation क्या होता है डॉक्टर? What is confabulation? कोई प्रश्न पूछे तो ऐसे लगता है कि भाई मुझे इसका आंसर मालूम है, तो मैं कुछ फ्रैगमेंटेड आंसर्स देना शुरू करता हूं. Just like in Viva Voce, all of us will start confabulating before the examiner, right? Confabulation. Basal ganglia will lead to a resting tremor. Parkinsonism में क्या होता है? Resting tremor. Cerebellar vermis, truncal ataxia, dysarthria. Cerebellar hemisphere में lesion हो गया तो intention tremor. Touch your nose with your finger. So when he has to start an activity, then he will start having the tremor, intention tremor. And ataxia of the limbs. Truncal ataxia is in the vermis, limb ataxia is in the cerebellar. Hemispheric lesion is what you need to remember. Finally, doctor, hypothalamus का functions क्या है? ये भी examiner पकड़ लेगा आपको कल के एग्जाम में, फटाफट आंसर करना. Hypothalamus, tan hats, T for thirst, for the water balance, typically as regulated by the thirst, for the water balance, T. A, it has adenohypophysis, and this structure fundamentally helps it to control by releasing a lot of factors, adenohypophysis. Then neurohypophysis, typically these neurohypophysis in the pituitary, it releases the hormone synthesized in the hypothalamic nuclei. Then hunger and satiety is a hypothalamic function. Which nucleus, doctor? Ventromedial nucleus. This is something that you should not forget. Definitely asked in the examiner. Asked by the examiner. Ventromedial is hunger and satiety. So, doctor, there is no shortcut for preparation for NEET PG. आपके फ्रेंड के साथ ऐसा ही बैठना, आप एक पेन लेना, पेपर लेना, लिखना और रिवीजन करते जाना. आपको 4-5 फ्रेंड्स रहना है. That is very important. So that is the reason I always tell you, doctor, join the WhatsApp study group of us. Call 9008688356. Thousands of students are there and you will get a very good साथी मिलेगा जिसके साथ चलो हम फिर से एनाटॉमी पढ़ेंगे, बोल के बैठ के पढ़ सकते. Now doctor, temperature. Posterior hypothalamus is important for conserving the heat when we are cold. बहुत ठंड लग रहा है, shivering होना है. Posterior hypothalamus. Where will you shiver, doctor? You will shiver in your spine. Spine कहाँ है? Posterior में है. So posterior hypothalamus conserves heat when cold and shivering. Anterior hypothalamus, whenever you sweat, where will you sweat? You will sweat in your face. Face is anterior. So anterior hypothalamus coordinates the cooling whenever it is hot by sweating. That's what you need to remember. Finally, most important thing क्या है doctor? Sexual regulation. Septate nucleus. Septate nucleus. S for sex. S for septate. Septate nucleus controls the sexual emotions, sexual urges is what you have to basically remember. So doctor, this is Dr. Murli Bharadwaj, your everyday classmate in the NEET PG preparation. Enjoy करना है हम साथ मिलके पढ़ेंगे रोज and we will once more meet up every day evening 7 to 11 p.m. in the live online broadcast on the YouTube. Please share this video, give some good comments on this video, and also any extra points you know about these topics, please post them under this video, which will be a great help for the entire students preparing for the NEET PG. Thank you very much.